Good evening, everybody. It's John from Veganism KILLS. It's 10:40 p.m. September 14th. I got a little visit from Bart Kay, the guy that likes to imitate Bart Kay. He does it pretty good. I'm too big to be imitating Bart Kay. I'm 200 pounds of meat versus 150 pounds. Even if I shaved my head, I couldn't imitate Bart. So 4K is on my little video here, not to trust Ryan. 4K came in. Ryan would destroy you in the debate. And I honestly said, by watching Brian's actual challenge vegan, by how? Making dramatic hand motions and standing there with his mouth open, because that's all he ever did. He never provided anything. So I gave him a tasty little tidbit. He would be at a loss for words, which is the FDA poisonous plant database. These guys are out there telling people that eating this diet of plants that are on the poisonous plant database is healthy. Figure that one out. I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure that drinking or consuming some kind of poison is going to have a negative effect on you. Do you even need a study? And if you do, they shouldn't let you handle any sharp knives in the house. So here we go. You can see this. So I gave him that. I said he, referring to Ryan, will use some revisionary history like the bubonic plague was caused by meat consumption in the Middle Ages, when it was brought in from grain shipments from the Middle East by rats that ate the grain, which is true. Ryan stated in one of his videos, which I do have a copy of, that the bubonic plague was caused by eating meat. Meat spread the germs. Meanwhile, no, it was quite the opposite. It was the rats that came with the grain shipments from the Middle East who had fleas infected with the bubonic plague. So the rats followed the produce and spread the disease. Of course, I told him to go back to his crack den, because it's getting ridiculous. There are greens that aren't high in oxalates. If you're so worried about oxalates in your greens, you can eat bok choy. Then he goes, on the other hand, all animal foods contain saturated fat and cholesterol linked to the leading cause of death in America. No, saturated fat is not linked to heart attacks or strokes. A hospital right here will tell you. That's a professional. Those are doctors. Doctors, nutritionists, they'll tell you that saturated fat has nothing to do with heart disease or anything else, right there. Now, as far as the cholesterol is, cholesterol you got to have in your body because, bluntly, 70% of your brain cells are cholesterol. And if you're cholesterol deficient, I don't expect your brain to be 100%. Your body makes some cholesterol, yes, from the bone marrow, but after it's not enough, especially if you're active. Now, I asked him when he made this statement, did Ryan teach you that? Because it's piss poor. 2 out of 14 shame you can't read, because it says out of 14 studies show that only 2 of them did an association. They didn't prove anything. And the other 12 said no. So that's it. I'm going to have to let a science consensus figure that out. And they have. Why don't you explain to me how eating murdered animals will in fact lower cholesterol levels in the body, decrease your risk of cancer? The answer is simple. Stop eating junk food, overeating. Veganism cures nothing. The risk by going vegan is small compared to other diets. It's ridiculous. They have a 0.001 lower risk factor, which means nothing. And the oldest people in the world, average age 111, are not vegan. We're going to keep going here. I'd like to see you try and race Ryan and play a basketball against him, lard ass. I like to see Ryan take a 5-day hike in the woods and come out alive. So, well, this vegan lived to 104. One vegan lives to 104, right? Jean Clement, who drank wine, smoked, ate red meat, lived to 122. And she's more of a man than these limp biscuits over here. And right now, there's at least 11 men who are not vegan. Their average age is about 111 years old, and they're still alive, and none of them are vegan. So that's gone. Have you seen Ryan's jump shot? He's talking about, you ever see Ryan's jump shot? You know something? When I'm out in the woods doing a 20-mile hike into nowhere, you know how much that jump shot is worth? 0. Now, we're going to go back to the subject. One vegan, 104. Meanwhile, 11 omnivores lived to 111 and are still alive currently. Madame Clement lived to 122 years old. She drank wine, smoked cigarettes, and ate red meat. So vegans are still dying younger than meat eaters. So what's your point? Because it's not proven anything, but proved meat eaters are living 10% more and climbing with each tick of the clock. So he's bragging that this vegan lived to 104. Meanwhile, there's about, the men alone, not to mention the women, people who eat meat, there's like 11 of them. And some of them live in the United States. One of them's a cattle herder. Another one's a farmer. They're about 111 to 112, and they're still alive. And he's talking about the one vegan that lived to 104. Provide sources. One person does not mean anything. There will always be people that defy the odds. It would be at all living past that aren't publicly recognized. Maybe certain people do not want the publicity. So tell me how you... So we're going to reply to that. There you go. Okay, what greens do not? Okay, what greens do not have oxalates? I know. Do you? The average. He's saying that he eats a. This is a good one. He's making me choke. He told me that he avoids oxalates by eating kale and a few other combos of vegetables. So we all know that the recommended diet, or the minimum calories a human can have in a day is 2,000 calories. So what he's saying is that he exists on a diet of mostly kale, and to get the recommended amount of calories in kale, you would have to eat 47 cups of kale to get 2,000 calories. So let's find kale on the list. That's 2 milligrams per cup. Now 47 times 2 is 94. What's the recommended amount of oxalates recommended in your diet per day? 45. That shows you how much these people know. They don't know what they're talking about. Then they get mad and get frustrated and call you lard ass and start bragging they have some kind of physical prowess. I can guarantee If I throw an 80-pound pack on Ryan's back, he's going to collapse in the first 10 miles. Guarantee it. I'm talking walking in the woods, not doing a jump shot. Woo! Like ballet. I'm talking about having to watch your back because you might get charged by a bear, a black bear or a brown bear. Take your pick if you go into Colorado. A wolf, maybe even an elk. If the bucks are in the ruck, they'll run into you too. You got bobcats and cougars. You have to get your own water. You have to survive by using this. Not running in the gym and claiming you're the physical prowess of male effigy because you can make a jump shot and play basketball. How about this? How about if we play rugby instead? Because I'd probably run him over like he wasn't even there. Basketball. Now he comes. You should try reaching out to debate Ryan. I'm pretty sure he has a Discord. I'll look into it. So I told him, so provide the source. He claims that all of these vegans are living to this old age, but they're not on the record. And if they're not on the record, how do you know if they exist? You should try reaching out to debate Ryan. I'm pretty sure he has a Discord. I'll look into it. So I'm going to debate this guy, and he better be prepared for me. So they're over here. I hope they're not over here plugging in just all of this stuff, and they think that's all going to be in the debate, because I know a lot more than what I discussed with Bart Kay. This boy is going to be shut down. Yeah. I like to see Ryan take a 5-day hike in the woods and come out alive. I'm not fat, Limp Bizkit, because right away they start. Have you seen? Let me fix this. I told him, have you seen me travel 20 miles in a day on foot in hard terrain? Jump shot is for pussies. Because it is. You're talking about doing this. You're supposed to give you some kind of male prowess? And this one, okay, he's told me there's lots of vegans that live to older ages, but they're not on the record. Oh, so they're not on the record, which means it's bullshit. And here it goes. I don't drink smoothies. I usually eat half a bunch of kale a day and a few cups of greens. Never had any issues with oxalates. I told him, you don't have a clue, do you? You as a grown male eat a bunch of kale or a few cups of greens. I laughed at him. Kale has about 42.5 calories a cup. You would have to eat 47 cups of kale a day. Yeah, his blood tests are perfect every time. So he's coming. You see, my blood tests are perfect every single time. You see, this is something that vegans don't understand, which I learned. You can have all the nutrients in your bloodstream. Doesn't mean that they're going to where they need to go. That means you got them in your bloodstream and they're coming right out of your asshole at the end of the day. You know why? Because you don't have RBP, retinol binding protein. You lack, if you eat a high oxalate diet and all those minerals are bounded up. If you eat eat the kale that he's eating, the 94 milligrams of kale. He can even drink a glass of milk, and with that amount of oxalates, it will make the calcium in the milk inert. These guys don't know what they're talking about. Brian is going to be an easy kill. Mostly you're going to see Brian go, making stupid head motions, make a statement, and sit there and try to emotion it through. It's ridiculous. It isn't. Then he says, I asked him, how are you getting your vitamin A? He refuses to answer because I know that he's not getting vitamin A. Then he's saying that vegans get lower cancer. Meanwhile, there's a study out there that linked in the lab they linked oxalates to breast cancer in women. And why? Because 1 cup of soy milk has 336 milligrams of oxalates. So even if you're eating greens, it's the other stuff that you're eating too. And plus the amount of kale he eats, he still has a high oxalate diet, whether he realizes it or not. You vegans better learn how to use a calculator. Then he says, well, you're murdering animals. Of course, this is what happens when you crush them on the nutritional debate. Right away they go to ethics, and they switch them back later after they lose that. Hold on for a minute. I gotta get some. It's court. Okay. Now where was I? When they can't beat you on a nutritional debate, right away they'll go to ethics. And they'll use the term murder. Well, the term murder is a legal term where one human kills another without provocation. Okay? You can't murder an animal unless, of course, you start applying human tributes to an animal, which is anthropomorphism. And I think they really need to put that into the new psychological journals. Because I see a lot of grown people who are crying about an animal getting slaughtered when people need to eat. And everybody says, would you do it yourself? I've done it several times. I go hunting. I'll shoot it there and skin it and gut it and backpack the meat out. My friends do it every year. I don't understand. You guys live in the city too long. If something bad happens where you got to rely on your own wits and skills, you're not going to make it. If somebody's not there to give you some bottled water, you're gone in 2 days. And here I explained to Bart Kay on the cancer side, oxalate's been linked in the lab to breast cancer. A date has 24 milligrams of oxalates, and soy products are off the charts. 1 cup of soy milk, 336 milligrams. So its oxalates are not just in leafy greens, it's in almost every plant known to man. Then I explained to him, to maintain a human needs 2,000 calories a day. To get your required calories from kale, you need to eat 47 cups of kale. That's 94 milligrams of oxalates, twice beyond the recommended 45 milligrams. So yes, you do have an oxalate problem, Bart Kay. And then he's telling me Ryan's jump shot is impressive. Meanwhile, we got spikes on our feet and claws on our hands. We're climbing 40 to 50 feet in a tree on a stand to take a look. And he's trying to tell me that Brian's jump shot is impressive. Ryan's jump... I would honestly, if Brian would like to come with me, I'll take you out in the woods, Brian. We'll send you out to chop woods. Good luck on coming back. Because you also got to know how to use a compass and a map. People like him, that they're doing what they're doing, where people are getting sick, I might do the world a favor if I took him out in the woods and just left him there. He's vegan. You can eat what the herbivores eat. There's plenty of grass. See you later. And right away they call everybody obese. That they have this orthorexia, that if you're not thin with all your bones showing and looking like a teenage boy, that you're obese. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. Then he says he gets his blood checked and everything comes back healthy. First of all, the oxalates are not in your blood, they're in your urine. Vitamins and minerals can be in your blood without the proper carriers like RPP. They serve no purpose of the human body. Also, you have to, again, I'll say it again, and this one I'm talking to Bart Kay. He's going to organize a debate between me and Ryan. So what he's going to think is I'm going to talk about the subjects that we talked about, and they think they're going to have the script set up. Well, I got a surprise for them. I could switch the whole debate on them. They don't know. They don't know what they're talking about. They're not even close. I could just turn around and say, how do you get vitamin A? They haven't a clue. They haven't a clue of the condition of the human body on the subject of vitamin A. They have none. I asked them. He couldn't answer. And they don't even know. They're trying, well, there was no oxalates in my blood. Well, oxalates don't show up in your blood. They come in your urine. They affect the renal system. So that just goes to show you that they actually don't know anything. And he's talking about Brian's jump shot. So I said, have you seen me travel 20 miles a day on foot in hard terrain? Jump shot is for pussies. It is. And of course, this is so they're not on the record refers to the vegans that live past 104, but they're just not on the record because they don't want anybody to know. Vegans don't want anybody to know they're living longer than everybody else, so they keep it secret. It must come with the super vegan Dakota ring. So I told them, oh, so they're not on the record, which means it's bullshit. Look at this. What human would eat 47 cups of kale a day? Do you really consider that balanced diet? Do you think before you type? What is your average, Stacy? Do you eat pizza every meal? I eat a variety of plant foods. Good thing you didn't try vegan because you would have been the next ex-vegan. Watch this. He did say it. He did say it. So here he goes. If you had the capacity to read what you posted, you said you subsist on kale, which he said. Now watch how they do this. Now, he says he didn't say he eats kale, right? Now I'm going to show you how disingenuous these vegans are. I don't drink smoothies. I usually eat half a bunch of kale a day and a few cups of greens. Never had any issues with oxalates, so I explained to him, you're getting 94 milligrams of oxalates if you're on a 2,000 calorie a day recommended minimum calorie subsistent diet. You're eating 47 cups of kale a day to meet the 2,000 calorie requirement of the human body, which equals 94 milligrams of oxalates. But yet down here, he actually denies he said that. You see, people, you get... You lost, huh? Sure they are, but oxalates are measured in urine, not blood. Vitamins and minerals can... So I don't know how he lost. He hasn't provided anything. Again, the Ryan win. It just shows you. They declared themselves the victor. They haven't even showed up at the battlefield. Clowns. Clowns. So there you go. Bart Kay, another bullshit artist. You can read all the comments here. I wrote them through. He thinks he won. He lost. He knows nothing of the science of nutrition. He knows nothing of the stats that show that omnivores are living 10% longer. The oldest omnivores are still living at 111 and 112, and the oldest vegan that he can mention is 104, which means the omnivores are living at least more than 10% with each tick of the clock. He doesn't know about oxalates. He says that he went and got a blood test and his oxalates were fine. Well, oxalates aren't measured in the blood. They're measured in the urine. So that shows you how much they know. They don't understand you can have all the vitamins and nutrients in your body that you could possibly take in supplements. It doesn't mean they're getting to where they need to be if you don't have the right carriers. Or the oxalates bind to them and turn them into freaking rat feeds, which damage your gut and have your own shit going inside your internals from your colon. But that's them, they're geniuses. So, Brian, whenever you're ready. Bart Kay, set it up, Bart. I want to have some fun. You lost. You know, if you seen Ryan's jump shot, yeah, that proves he's healthy. Brian's jump shot. Let me get a hold of him for 5 days when I go to Colorado when it's 32 degrees. And that's a hot day. Let's see what happens. I want to take one of these vegans with me so bad for a 5-day trip to Colorado during hunting season and watch what happens to him. I want to go home. There's something looking at me in the dark over there. That's Fred. He's taking a piss. Oh. Now it's your turn to go in the woods by yourself. Here's a pistol, because you never know, might run out with you. So here's a pistol. He'd run home crying all the way. These vegan he-men. And on that note, I'm out of here. It's been real fun. You can just watch the comments. They're ridiculous as hell. And on that note, I'm out of here.